Welcome to the Believe in Your Office podcast, sponsored by Boomerang and Common Sense Office Furniture, the podcast where we explore what makes workplaces work. Every episode features candid conversations with leaders, business professionals, and workplace experts who've been in the trenches. They share the real stories, the wins, the failures, and the lessons learned about culture, teamwork, and leadership that actually matter. Let's get into it. Ryan, welcome to the Believe in Your Office podcast. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do for a living, and any other fun stories that you got for us.
Sure. Where to begin? I believe that I was born a salesperson, not knowing it, just a competitor, being in baseball, leading the team. I was always the captain as a young kid, and I always wanted to be the best. And I think that transitions into sales, but it's not really sales when you love what you do and you're helping. I call it, I'm helping people buy, not sell. But yeah, as far as where I'm at now with Common Sense Furniture, it's a little bit of commercial furniture for anybody in any type of business, from hospitality to healthcare, medical, you name it, anything, we have it. But I started at City Furniture, which, if people don't know, it's like a rooms to go. And I didn't think I would like it, but it just came to me. Who would have thought I would love doing furniture? But yeah, weirdly enough, I would have never thought. My family may have never thought, but I enjoy it. And I don't know, something about the designing part of it is what I enjoy. But yeah,
So, how long have you been in the office furniture industry or the furniture industry?
I would say 5 years. But
Awesome.
yeah, no, because I was at Mattress Firm originally, which is like
Retail, yeah. So pretty
burnt.
much like comfortability and like culture has always been the foundation of like who you are as a person. Let's kind of start from the very beginning, right? You said that you were a captain in most of the sports leagues that you were in and sports that you played. Why is office furniture so important to you?
It's not well, it's important. What makes it important is the people and the end result, the goal, the seeing somebody's dream or vision in a space, whether it be, their home. But I'm new to the office industry, uh, brand new, a month, but it's the same thing. The most important part to me is being a part of somebody's vision and dream and making it come true, from start to finish. Like I said, I'm not selling, I'm helping people buy. I give them all the options and I want them to be happy with what they want. It's a big deal because when you're around it, you really appreciate it. It's a vibe that you're in. When you have all the furniture, you have that feel, and it just makes, your day-to-day activities a better time. So furniture is a big deal, really. If you do think about it, it really sets the tone of, from you sitting on what chair you're sitting on, to what's on the walls, aesthetically pleasing, that sets the vibe. So I love all that, and there's just endless options to choose from.
So let's dive a little bit more about like your background and your maybe even family if needed. You started off as a captain, like, and then you also said that you never thought that you were a salesperson before. So, but you were born a salesperson. So what was that journey like for you? Because you said you were a leader, but at the same time, like I think sales, I agree with you. Sales isn't necessarily, it can be taught to a degree, but you kind of have to have that fire within you at all times. So like tell me a little bit more about the early stages of your life or even your career where you kind of started to realize that not only am I a leader, but I can also help people as well.
Yeah. As a kid, like playing baseball, I was always trying to be the best. Like, I didn't just wait to practice with my coaches or my team. I was always at home doing that. But you name it, anything. I see you have, collectors things, Pokemon. I always wanted to be the best at whatever it was. And I think, like you said, that fire mentality is what drives the salesperson, is wanting to be the best. I'm a middle child of two, and my brothers are completely opposite. they they would be okay with just being in the middle. They would that would suffice for them. But for me, I always just I had to be the best. I don't know why. It's not like dream about it and do it. It's just like it just comes to me that I want to be the best, not to be like cocky or anything. It's not
No,
about that. It's just I want to be good at what I do, and that gives me a good sense of feeling. So ever since a kid like that, I've just always been born with it. And then it transitioned to sales. I remember at a college when I first went to a career seminar, those things where, what is it called?
like a fair career fair.
Yeah, yeah. I went to one of those, and two guys similar to me, dressed like me, approached me. And I didn't know if I wanted to be in sales at that time, but they seemed just like me, and I was just a natural fit, and that was digital marketing. And ever since then, like I knew that right then and there in my adult life that I had a future in sales based on that. That was cold calling, phone sales. So that if you could do that, you could sell pretty much anything.
100%. I think everybody, there's a couple of jobs in life that I think you need as a human. Number one is restaurant industry. I think it's like almost mandatory in order to like get involved in some type of like hospitality world. The second one is going to be cold calling, because I think if you cold call 1,000 people and 999 of them tell you to F off, I think you're going to be built slightly different if that's the case. Would you agree? Yeah. So what did
Yeah,
cold calling teach you?
it taught me that to stay strong, but it also taught me that in today's world, cold calling is dead. This was like I don't know. I'm 33, so this was like 13 years ago. 10, 13 years ago, something in that range. But even then, cold calling was dead. I mean, everyone had the internet then. You could research, and it wasn't like the owner of that business was from Wall Street. Like they were used to that whole Wolf of Wall Street deal. And in fact, digital marketing, they said, was like the next thing compared to like stocks back in the day. But cold calling, what it taught me is just to stay strong, especially like I didn't have any other sales experience. I just jumped right into that, and it was brutal, you know. But to wake
Do
up
you
every day
do
and
you
do
still think
that,
it's dead though?
ah, depends. It's very, very, very hard to call somebody in the middle of the day, get them to drop everything that they're doing to think about the thing that you are trying to get them to think about.
For sure.
It would have to be on their mind. It's not dead, it's just very difficult. I think that your sales chances go up by 1,000% in person,
Mm.
unless you're just super confident. It can be done through phone sales, cold calling, but I would say that that's the hardest way, and I think it is dying. Who's going to trust a phone call when you could just go online and research?
I do agree with certain points of that. I actually, on a personal level, I've actually seen quite a significant, you know, positivity when it comes to cold calling, because I think because everybody's on their phone, people are actually dying for culture, for people to talk to humans. But I'd be curious to see you said the mention of like in person. Are you talking about in person just dropping into their business and just saying, "Hey, what's up?" Or are you saying that interpersonal relationships, like meeting them, asking them to go for coffee? Like, tell me a little bit more about how you're able to get a sale, more or less. Like, what is your process like, if not cold calling?
Yeah, the way I see it is in person you could be more confident. They can put your face to it. They can trust you more. You're in person. It's not like I'm just dealing with somebody over the phone and they're trying to take my money. It's more personable. And I do agree with you with the phone things, because everyone is trying to get more connected, but that does lead me back to people are wanting to interact more in person as well. I'm just a firm believer, like, because at like Rooms to Go, the version of where I worked, City Furniture is like a rooms to go. You could take a lot of no's, right? And people that walk into the showroom, what's the last thing they want? They don't want is to be bugged by the salesperson, right? So with this, you don't want to bug the people at the office either. You just need to be made relevant and know that I'm here. That's it. So it's really just stopping into an office. Here's my information. If you need furniture, you need it. If you don't, you don't. But I made my connection, and that's it. It's about planting as many seeds because we don't have a showroom. So I treat the city as if it's my showroom. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, it certainly does. So, like, let's just go a little bit deeper in that. So now you have you give a card to somebody, right? Um, from a typical standpoint, from a sales standpoint, how long or what would you recommend to people to get that sale, right? So like now they're top of mind, or at least for the next hour, and then they go on their phone and they forget about you. So like, how do you then continue to get them interested in you to buy? So like on a Monday, right? Say you give a card on a Monday. What is the subsequential things that you would do or recommend to people in order to get them to become a customer of yours?
It's a great question. The way I do it is to relate it to dating a girl, right? When you first start dating a girl, you don't want to come off as weird by texting them too much, right? Because then they think that you're
You're a creep.
exactly, you're a creep. So it's just like that. I relate it to that. If you go in there and touch them, and you should know if you're a salesperson, first of all, number one is you want to get the decision maker. You don't want to waste your time with the front desk receptionist. I want the decision maker. From there, you should have a very good idea if it's worth following up or not, if they have a need or not. If it is, if there's a somewhat of a need, but you didn't have like oh, we need this in a couple of weeks, then yeah, you follow up with them every month to stay relevant, but not desperate. Just saying, hey, it was great meeting you. Maybe we get some lunch sometime. If it's worth it like that, you had that relationship. But if not, maybe it's not even worth the follow up. You put them on your calendar for a month or 3 months from now. But the ones that that you could tell, you should be able to tell if they're asking you questions, they're talking about timelines, they're really interested in this, then that person, you definitely want to set up an appointment. If you don't that day, they're busy, then that's when you want to email or call them or go back in.
Yeah.
That would be my process. So if Monday I'm hitting that person that's interested, I'm going to be hitting them by Wednesday, the latest, probably the next day with an email to set up an appointment. But Wednesday, and then have an appointment by that week or early the next week.
Based on your history, what is that process? How long does it usually take in order for you to obtain a sale? Like if I were to like how many follow-ups do you typically see?
Hmm. It's hard to tell because this is commercial, so I know it'll take a little bit longer. But I would probably say from the very beginning to the close is what you're asking, like till they actually money in our pocket.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
just based on your background, your background, your history in sales. Like, retail is very transactional. So people come in and they know what they want and they either buy or they don't, right? More
yeah,
often when they come into a store, they're probably looking to buy. And it may not be today, but it could be tomorrow. So from my understanding in sales, I would say it takes anywhere between 10 to 12 times in order to like really get to them. It could be them driving a car and they see furniture, or it could be them going home and they touch their chair, whatever, or they go to their office and they touch this and it bothers them a lot, right? But I just want to hear from your perspective, like what does that cadence usually look like, and how are you able to get them from passive buyer to like pants on fire, I need this today?
yeah. That's a good question. Well, it's like you said, a lot of it is procrastination. They're probably reminded like 10, 12 times. They're sitting on that old chair that they just need to get, right? But some people, it's an automatic need. They have to move because they're expanding or they're opening up a new location, right? So it's constantly on their mind. They're constantly thinking about everything that goes into opening up a business in offices, from Obviously, what are the people going to sit on? But the construction, the flooring, the ceiling, the water, the refrigerator, everything that goes into opening up a new business. And furniture is one of those things.
For
So
sure.
yeah, so it's really about just staying relevant and making that process as easy as possible for them to make a decision. They are going to buy. Your job is not to mess it up and be likable, really.
So how do you be likable?
You kind of mirror them. You match their vibe, and yeah, you basically act like a chameleon. You mirror them and treat them as if you try to be them. Um, and that's the best way I could really explain it. Chameleon.
So let's go back a little bit deeper about, sales, your sales roots and your background. Can you tell me a little bit more about like maybe where you learned this from? Because you said your brothers are polar opposites of you, like, and you met those two guys at the career fair. What, what was it that how have you learned to like sales? Were you selling things at like five, a lemonade to a lemonade stand, or like what?
No, I wasn't that, but I
No.
know what you're saying. A lot of stories are like that. Yeah, I wasn't like that. I wish I had a story like that, but I guess my story is back when I was a kid is just being competitive, really,
Yeah.
at anything. But no,
Yeah.
it was not knocking on doors and selling. But it was, I don't know. That's why I was saying when I didn't want to go into sales when I went to college to not because my family is all in sales. My father, grandfather, but on both sides of the family were just salespeople. So I
What
wanted
did
to
they sell?
cars, real estate, timeshare.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
and
you saw your parents and your family basically like out and about hustling the whole time.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. And how
yeah.
were you able to translate that? Like, was that probably an inspiration of yours that you were like, man, I see my dad hustling. Like you said, I think you said your grandfather as well, and you're like, man, I gotta provide as well. Was that kind of like the catalyst for you that you wanted to get into sales?
Well, my father left when I was young, so then I had
Mm,
a stepdad who was
mm,
not in sales. Everything that I saw, grandfather, father, um, I was just told about the sales, which is why I didn't want to do sales, not because I didn't, want to follow in their footsteps. I just wanted to be different. I wanted to try something different. I was the first one to go to school in my family, in my immediate family, to go to
nice.
college and graduate. So I had a lot of pressure there to do that, and I just got a business degree. And that's what I was saying at that career seminar. It was just I connected with them. It was like it was meant to be. So I really didn't know. Like I said, I don't have any stories of selling lemonade or anything like that. But I knew I had it based on the way those guys acted and wanted to hire me. And then the first couple of months I was working there, I knew that I had the ability to just sell, and I didn't know that I did before that.
Yeah.
It was just all baseball and being competitive. I didn't know I had a selling uh, aptitude. And yeah.
So you said that I would say retail sales is a lot different than like interpersonal relationship sales, because retail is very transactional. You sell and then you never talk to them again. What have been some of the core things that you've learned while being at Common Sense so far that is different than your previous experiences?
Hmm. So far, yeah. Well, so far the experience is a little different in that a lot of these are building relationships with not the decision maker, but the person that helps the decision maker, architects, commercial brokers, real estate brokers, and that's all new to me. So I'm learning that, but I really like that too because going to these like lunch and learns, these events, is interesting. It's more personable, but it makes the entire process easier. And in the sense that like you would be at the showroom at Rooms to Go, right, and just walking around all day until someone bought something. Here you're doing less of the hard work, and more brain work. You're using your brain more, and your ability to communicate and build relationships is really all it is. That's the big difference, I think, in this B2B sale commercial industry than the retail industry.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a lot more involved in for sure. If you were to like, compare yourself, or if you were to just like, when you're studying, assuming you study sales, who are some people that you think are, that people should look into more about sales? Or what are some books that maybe people should read? Or what are some social media accounts that people, just some advice that you could give to people who are in sales that have helped you greatly?
I can't give a name other than unless you can think of him. It's not the guy from Wolf of Wall Street, but he's another big guy. He's actually really tall. He's like 6'5". I can't name him.
Try and do some research on them.
Yeah, I can't think of him.
Alex Hermosi is one. Not sure if you
No,
that's him.
not that one. It's like super big name.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But you,
And
you
I
follow.
like him too because that guy, he gives back to entrepreneurs and
Mm,
salespeople. God, it's on the tip of my tongue. But if I had to give advice other than while you're researching for his name, it's a super big name, and I think it's like Italian sounding.
I'll
But
try and find them.
yeah, that's right there. But while you're doing that, if I had to give advice for salespeople, is don't overthink it with researching these other salespeople to see what they do. Right? Live a happy life. What I like to do is be around positive people. And that's why I like this industry, furniture. It's the people in it. It's kind of weird. And this is a good analogy, and I keep on using it, but I'm going to use it again because this is a good time on this podcast. But it's like when you when you look at a guy and it's an NFL player, but you don't know he's an NFL player, right? He's like a linebacker, huge guy, right? You probably look at him and say he's some type of professional athlete, like a football player, right? You can tell. In this industry, it's weird, but you could do the same thing with furniture people. You can just look at them and you can tell. So sometimes it's not about how good you are at selling; it's about what do you enjoy selling
Mm,
and being happy with that. So I think just being positive all the time around positive people in the environment has tremendous effects on your success.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah,
Good stuff, man. Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast. Appreciate the stories that you shared.
of course.
Your office isn't just where work happens, it's where culture is built, ideas are born, and teams come together. And if your workspace doesn't support the people in it, everything else becomes harder. That's where Boomerang and Common Sense Office Furniture comes in, supporting communities in Orlando, Florida, the tri-state area, and everywhere in between. Boomerang and Common Sense both specialize in high-quality office, hospitality, healthcare, and educational furniture that doesn't just look good, it performs. Whether you're furnishing a growing team, redesigning for hybrid work, or just need furniture that actually works for how people collaborate, Boomerang and Common Sense make it easy and affordable. Visit boomerangofficefurniture.com to see how the right furniture can transform the way your team works.